You are standing in the middle of a room, and yet you are vanishing. Every time you open your mouth to justify your existence, a piece of you dissolves. You think you're building a bridge of understanding, but you're actually digging your own grave. If you don't stop, the person staring back at you in the mirror will eventually become a stranger. A hollowed-out shell shaped entirely by the expectations of people who never cared to know you. Have you realized yet that your words aren't a shield, but the very weapon they're using to dismantle you? It starts as a whisper in the back of your mind, a small, nagging itch that tells you you've been misunderstood. You see a look in someone's eyes, a flash of judgment, a sliver of doubt, and your heart begins to race. You feel the frantic, desperate need to fix it. You begin to speak. You explain why you made that choice, why you said that word, why you are the way you are. You think you are reclaiming your power. You believe that if you can just find the right arrangement of syllables, the perfect sequence of logic, they will finally see the real you. But look closer. Watch their eyes as you scramble for approval. With every sentence you utter, you are handing them a map of your insecurities. You are showing them exactly where your boundaries end and where your desperation begins. When you explain yourself, you are essentially saying, "Your opinion of me is more valid than my own reality." You are asking for permission to exist. And the moment you ask for permission, you have already lost. The air in the room grows heavy, not with understanding, but with the scent of your own submission. You are no longer an equal. You are a defendant in a trial you never agreed to attend, presided over by a judge who has already reached a verdict. The silence that follows your explanation is the loudest thing you've ever heard. It's a suffocating, dense vacuum that sucks the dignity right out of the room. You've laid your heart on the table, sliced it open, and pointed to the valves, hoping for a nod of recognition. Instead, you get a shrug. Or worse, a fine. This is the psychological tax of the over-explainer. Every time you justify your actions, you bleed a little bit of your internal authority. Think about the people you truly respect, the ones who carry an invisible weight, a gravity that pulls others toward them. Do they scramble to clarify their motives? Do they chase people down the hallway to ensure their intentions weren't misread? No. They sit in their truth, and they let the world adjust around them. By refusing to sit in that silence, you are signaling that you cannot handle the discomfort of being disliked. You are telling the world that your peace of mind is contingent on their approval. It's a fragile way to live. You become a ghost, flickering in and out of existence based on the lighting in someone else's room. The tension in your chest isn't coming from the misunderstanding itself. It's coming from the violent betrayal of your own soul every time you try to trade your truth for a moment of social safety. The descent deepens when you realize that this isn't just happening in your conversations. It's happening in your head. You are rehearsing your defense for people who aren't even there. You're driving your car, walking the dog, or lying in bed at 3:00 a.m. and you're arguing with a ghost. You're explaining your career choices to a father who never understood you, or your lifestyle to a friend who moved on years ago. This internal monologue is a parasite. It consumes the energy you should be using to build your life, and instead it uses it to build a cage. You have become the prosecutor, the witness, and the accused all at once. You are obsessed with the why, believing that the why is your salvation, but the why is a trap. The more you analyze your motives for the sake of others, the more you lose touch with your own instincts. You begin to second-guess your gut feelings. You stop asking, "Is this right for me?" and start asking, "How can I explain this so it sounds right to them?" Your life becomes a series of footnotes. You are no longer the protagonist of your story. You are an editor, frantically trying to prune your life so it doesn't offend the sensibilities of a phantom audience. The collapse is almost complete. You are becoming a person who exists only in the footnotes of other people's lives. Eventually, the cost of being understood becomes too high. You reach a point of irreversible realization where you see that the people you were explaining yourself to didn't actually want to understand you. They wanted to control the narrative. Your explanations were never bridges. They were the raw materials they used to build a version of you that fit their needs. You realize that by giving them the why, you gave them the handle to the blade. If they know why you're afraid, they know how to make you stay. If they know why you're seeking their pride, they know exactly how much of it to withhold to keep you hungry. The weakness signaled by your explanations isn't just a social faux pas, it's a strategic vulnerability. You have effectively depersonalized yourself, turning your complex, messy human experience into a data set for others to manipulate. The tragedy is that you did it to yourself. You walked into the interrogation room and turned on the bright light. You volunteered the secrets of your heart because you were afraid of a moment of friction. And now, as you stand in the wreckage of your own autonomy, you see the truth. The only person who needed to understand you was the one you've been ignoring this whole time. The threshold, so here you are. The door is slightly ajar, and the cold air of the real world is biting at your skin. You can choose to walk back into the room, to find one more way to phrase it, one more story to tell that might finally make them nod in agreement. You can spend the rest of your life as a translator of your own soul, hoping to find a language that doesn't exist. Or you can simply stop. You can let the misunderstanding hang in the air like smoke. You can watch the judgment settle on their faces and feel the heat of their disapproval without reaching for a fire extinguisher. It will feel like dying. It will feel like a part of you is being torn away, because for so long your identity has been glued together by the validation of others. But in that brutal, icy silence, something else begins to happen. When you stop explaining, the energy you were pouring into the void begins to pool at your feet. It starts to fill you up. You realize that your truth doesn't need a witness to be true. You realize that no is a complete sentence, and because I wanted to is a sovereign decree. The weight of the world hasn't changed, but your spine has. You are still being watched, still being judged, still being misunderstood. But for the first time, you aren't looking back to see if they're still there. You are looking at the path ahead, realizing that the only way to keep your soul is to let them think whatever they want. The door is open. You can stay in the trial or you can walk out into the quiet. The choice was always yours, but the cost of the exit is your reputation in the minds of people who never loved you anyway.